Hey, Laker fans, we're less than 2,000 subscribers away from 40,000 on YouTube. Shout out to everybody who has already hit that subscribe button. But if you haven't, hey, now is the time. There's still a lot of Lakers news and rumors going on during NBA free agency. And then, hey, before we know it, the season will be here as the Lakers look to get back to the playoffs and make another championship run. So subscribe. We'll keep you guys up to date with everything going on with the purple and gold. You're watching the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Lots of Lakers free agency rumors that are surfacing over the past couple of days, so let's get into the latest here. The biggest story of the day is, how about signing Isaiah Thomas? Yes, IT4, who's been balling out in the Drew League recently. Marc Stein reports that the Lakers have shown some interest in signing Thomas as they try to fill out their last couple of roster spots here after a busy first week of free agency. Thomas has not been the same, and this is saying it nicely, since suffering that hip injury during the 2017 NBA playoffs with the Boston Celtics. Don't believe me? He's been on 5 teams in 4 seasons. He has made the rounds around the NBA. Got traded to Cleveland for that 2017-18 season. Only played in 15 games there. Ended up with the Lakers, 17 more games that year. Played with the Nuggets for 12 games in the 2018-19 season. 2019-20 season, played with Washington for 40 games, and then only played 3 games this year with the New Orleans Pelicans, I believe, on a 10-day contract. But I mentioned he's been balling out in the Drew League. He scored 81 points the other night. Did it for Kobe, as he was repping his Kobe sneaks as well. Got emotional after the game, said, "They gave up on me." Well, the injuries have piled up, IT. That's really what's happened here. But hey, you know what? I think he's a guy worth bringing into camp, so why not? Do you want to sign Isaiah Thomas? Type Y for yes, type N for no. If it's a non-guaranteed deal and just a camp invite, hey, I don't think there's any harm. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with the YouTube ad break, scroll on down and answer this question. Obviously, if you could rewind the clock and get at least something resembling the 2016-2017 season of IT, that would be awesome, because he was an MVP candidate. Averaged 29 points, 6 assists on 46% from the floor, 38% from 3. He truly was unreal that season for Boston, and I've always given him credit as he fought through that hip injury during the playoffs, trying to make a deep run with Boston. Didn't work out. He's obviously been banged up ever since that year. He's played in 87 games over the past 4 seasons with 5 teams. He can still score a little bit, 12.5 points in that time, 4 assists per game as well, but the efficiency really has been problematic. 38.5% from the field, 34.3% from 3. He just doesn't have that same explosiveness and that step back and ability to create separation like he once did. Does he have value on the end of a bench as a spark plug, especially on load management type of nights? Perhaps, but he's clearly not the same guy. Like, he's not even close to what he was 5 years ago, which is really a shame, because he was coming into his own in a major, major way. And at 5'9", you were talking about one of the best sub-6-foot players ever in the NBA. That was the trajectory he was on. His body just hadn't held up, guys. Like, since that hip surgery that offseason, he hasn't been able to move the same. He's never been a good defender, but he's even worse now, and the efficiency, like I said, has wavered in a major, major way. So I'm not completely dismissing this idea, but again, it would have to be some kind of non-guaranteed deal. By the way, what is your favorite NFL team? I want you guys to shout it out in the comments section. We'll let a couple come in through here, and I can get kind of a gauge of what you Laker fans are feeling. Seeing some 49ers fans, some Rams fans, a lot of West Coast teams, which makes some sense. Here's the deal. Preseason is here. Football is back, and you can make some money throughout the NFL preseason by betting for or maybe even against your favorite team. Chatsports.com/Lakers. BetUS is the place to go, and you can get there with that link, chatsports.com/Lakers. Use our promo code LAKERS125. That'll get you a 125% deposit bonus at sign-up. Little tip here. Put down $100. Use that promo code, extra 125 of free cash. That'll float you throughout football season. I did it last year, still have money left over. Made some money as well. Chatsports.com/Lakers. Use our promo code LAKERS125 to make some money throughout football season. All right, 30K Oubre, let's talk about him here on the Lakers Report. He's obviously landed with the Charlotte Hornets, 2 years and $26 million, but apparently the Lakers offered him a contract. Now, I'm not sure how much it was worth. I'm guessing it was less than that $13 14 million per year he got with Charlotte. Maybe it was something like the mid-level. Maybe it was 8 to 10 million early on in free agency. He obviously ended up getting a little bit more than that, but certainly I found this interesting because the Lakers opted to go depth with, a lot of vet minimum type of guys and some cheaper contracts with guys like Kendrick Nunn as well, over a guy like Kelly Oubre who would have eaten up more cap. And honestly, I think they benefited from that. I think more depth is better than having just Kelly Oubre on your bench, because now the Lakers go 10, 11, 12 deep with guys like Carmelo Anthony, Malik Monk, Wayne Ellington, Dwight Howard, and all these guys. You wouldn't have been able to bring in all these guys. Kendrick Nunn would not be on this team had you paid Kelly Oubre, say, $10 million per year. THT is able to return as well. I like Oubre, but I think depth ended up paying off for LA. Obviously, we'll have to see once the season actually gets here. Oubre is obviously a solid young wing who I think is going to do some good things with the Charlotte Hornets, but I was fairly surprised to hear that the Lakers were actually in the mix for Kelly Oubre Jr. and even offered a contract. Again, not sure what that contract offer looked like, but that is what is being reported in NBA circles. Speaking of the Lakers free agency, all the depth signings they added, grade their moves, what they've done this offseason. A, B, C, D, or F. I feel great about what the Lakers have done. Obviously, a lot of it will come down to Russell Westbrook's play, but if he plays well, I like the rest of this roster, obviously building around LeBron and AD. A, B, C, D, or F, grade the Lakers free agency moves. Apparently, the Lakers were also in on Lou Williams before he re-signed with the Hawks, 1 year and $5 million. Haven't seen if they actually offered a contract. If they did, I'm guessing it was probably for the minimum, and Lou Will obviously was able to get a little more money as he got $5 million on that 1 year deal. That would have been certainly interesting. A guy who can score off the bench. The Lakers tried it with Montrezl Harrell last year. Didn't really work out. Lou Williams is still a guy who can give you 25 on any given night. I think it made sense for him to re-sign with Atlanta. He was a spark plug, and we all know how he likes Magic City wings, so he wasn't going anywhere. But the Lakers were in the mix for a couple of notable free agents in Kelly Oubre and Lou Williams, but did not land either. They don't need Lou. The Lakers don't need Lou Williams. They got plenty of scoring. They got plenty of bench depth. I think they'll be just fine without Lemon Pepper Lou, but it'll be fun visiting him in Atlanta at Magic City. Who do you guys think is the better NBA player? Type KO for Kelly Oubre, type LW for Lou Williams. Neither are with the Lakers, but just curious who you would have rather had, perhaps. KO for Oubre or LW for Lou Williams. Last piece of news here, Dennis Schroder did sign with the Boston Celtics last night, 1 year deal, $5.9 million mid-level exception, and my God, I hate to put him in a body bag, I really do, but one of the worst decisions I think we've ever seen. You hate to see it. You truly hate to see how this has played out for Dennis Schroder. About 4 months ago, he had $84 million on the table. Imagine being a career like sixth man type in the NBA, having $84 million in front of you over 4 years, with the Lakers, by the way, to chase championships, and being like, nah, I'm good. I want $125 million. And then 4 months later, you signed for $5.9 million. That is just unbelievable decision making for Dennis Schroder and his camp. I hope he's fired his agent. Look, we'll see what happens this year in Boston for Schroder. The Lakers certainly weren't going to bring him back, especially at a higher price tag than that $21 million per year they offered 4 years ago. Hopefully he does well in Boston. But hey, here's my advice on the Lakers report. My mom taught me, hey, bet on yourself until there's $84 million on the table. Then you take that shit and run. You do not bet on yourself when $84 million is at your disposal. Dennis, awful decision. I don't know who told you to turn that down. It's one of the worst professional sports advices, whatever you want to call it, that I've ever seen. There's been some bad ones in the NBA, but a net loss of $78.1 million, that's about as bad as it gets. So let me know. Be honest. Is this the worst decision of all time? Dennis Schroder turning down $84 million and ultimately landing for 5.9. Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. If you're typing your 2, I guess Victor Oladipo is watching this video. We'll see you next time on the Lakers Report, youtube.com/LakersTV.